What's up, everybody? Naomi here with IGN's E3 live show streaming on e3.ign.com. For our last segment of the day, we've saved the big guns. Modern Warfare 3 is in the house, and it promises to be the most epic game of the series. Scott Lowe is now in hand to take a look.
What's up, guys? Scott here. I'm with Robert Bowling from Infinity Ward and Michael Gondry from Sledgehammer. We're here to talk about a new demo, Black Tuesday. What's this level all about, guys? Break it down for us.
It's really exciting. Rob and I are both really proud to show this to you. This really picks up where Modern 2 ended. Russia's invaded the U.S., has wiped out D.C. The U.S. traditional forces are in disarray. So the U.S. calls in Delta Force, their leading spec ops organization, to take the fight to the heart of Manhattan.
Okay, so it takes place like on Wall Street, right? Like we're like, fighting in between like wrecked cars and just, all hell's breaking loose.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna see this. I mean, this type of gameplay, what's really cool is like, we're moving for those non-traditional conflict areas. We're not fighting in undescript deserts and remote areas. We're fighting in the heart of major cities. I mean, as you can see when this opens, let's just take a moment to just soak this in.
Just soak in all the carnage and destruction. Can you guys talk at all about how the engine's been upgraded? Because this is gorgeous. I mean, like, have you guys really made some tweaks to it, or?
We have. You always do, and you especially have to when you start making a game of this scale. I mean, now that we're moving into the major cities, there's a lot to get there. And most importantly, not only do we have to focus on how are we expanding it, but maintaining those core disciplines of keeping the game running at 60 frames per second, so you have that smooth cinematic intensity.
Well, and I'm the rewind theater guy for IGN, so one of our biggest, kind of questions when the first trailer hit is like, what's going on with this gun right here? You've got 2 attachments on there, or what? Break that down for us.
This is one of my personal favorites because this is the cool thing about game design of like your story and your environments really give birth to a new feature that deeply impacts gameplay. So here you have a dual scope system, so when you're clearing the streets like this, you don't want a close range optic like that EOTech or that red dot. You want to switch up to a magnified scope like this ACOG and really start engaging guys long range. Now when you get in the buildings, you kick in a door, you're clearing out rooms, you're going to want a red dot or EOTech, a close to medium range optic. And that's when you can pull it back down and change your gameplay style on the fly depending on the environment and how the level plays out.
Gotcha. So as you're progressing through here, you're seeing all sorts of carnage from like, from the windows and stuff like that. So the context here is this like a fully occupied, or is just an ongoing battle between the two opposing forces?
Yes, at this point, Russia has completely taken over the land and sea surrounding New York. So this is Delta and the initial pushback to try and regain the land in Manhattan. This is a fully occupied Russian force, and here Delta is catching up with a larger American force to begin the pushback.
Gotcha. Yeah, what I love about this is you're fighting military on military. I mean, this is the Russian military that has invaded. So they have their full armory. They're coming in with their armor, they're coming in with their navy, they're coming in with everything they have in the assault on America. This is following that conflict, that big push to get them out. I mean, that's why you call them big guns that are Delta operators.
What you see here is that the Russians have complete air control. So Delta, Special Arms Forces, is brought in to try and take down the jamming station. So that's your initial objective.
And then as far as like the gun modifications are concerned, how much of that will we be seeing in like multiplayer elements? I know you guys aren't really talking a lot about it at the show, but I mean, personally, I'm dying to hear about it. Come on.
That's what I love about all these demos that we do, because we always open up with single player, and you're walking over weapons on the ground and people are making notes trying to figure out what, like you guys do rewind theater, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Of you want every detail and you're trying to figure out, okay, how does that work in multiplayer? How does it work in spec ops? We're not diving deep in multiplayer yet, but I mean, we take all that into consideration of like, how can we move it over there? But see, single player is all about fun. It's all about the gameplay. So stuff like this, stuff like the XM25 that you'll see later, it's all about just having a good time. When you move it into multiplayer, it's all about keeping it balanced. You have to balance it with everything else in the game. So we're excited to start sharing that stuff with people once we get later in.
Well, and we're seeing some like really incredible set pieces here, guys. I mean, like this is just balls to the walls action. Like, would you say this falls in the scheme of like 3 times as crazy as Modern Warfare 2, or more? Are we talking about like 16 times? what is your personal take on that? Like, you think guys have just raised it to a whole nother level?
You know, we push ourselves with every product, right? And this is really about epic action in an urban warfare setting that you really have never seen before in a Call of Duty modern game. So Manhattan is the heart of urban America, right?
Yeah.
And I think from the streets of Manhattan to the skies to the harbor, we're going to show you scale that's going to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think in terms of just that scale of the types of environments you're fighting in, it's like nothing you've ever seen in a franchise before. I mean, here is in Manhattan, we're going to London, we're going, all over the major cities of Europe, and we're really taking you to places you've never fought before.
Well, and I'm just watching this demo, and I'm seeing like, the particle effects are off the charts. Like, I mean, this is like more than you've ever seen in a previous Call of Duty. Like, the lighting effects are fantastic. The real engine tweaking seems to be coming out here.
Yeah, we were standing on the shoulders of greatness with Modern 2, right? A lot of time and energy from the Infinity Ward guys for years making that amazing. And we've had 2 years to improve on that. So with a lot of talent and passion from the engineering team and the technical art team, I think we've got results here that really show it's taken a good step forward.
Yeah, our team takes so much pride in being very authentic and getting down to every detail that you can find, So you're looking at this, so much work goes into make sure that we're capturing the essence of the environment that you're fighting in. And then you have to take that and put it through a lens of gameplay, filter it out of like, okay, how can we make this authentic environment, make it fun for the player? You got to be thinking about things like cover points, sight lines, the player route he's going to take, the alternatives he can take, really make sure that he can have fun and explore this environment in a real-time combat situation that's fun.
Yeah, well, and you guys have been taking a lot of feedback from the fan community. So, like, what kind of, resulting in, specifically in the single-player campaign, were you guys like really looking out for, and for the inspiration of this level, and the subsequent level as well?
I think feedback in general, helps in every aspect of the game. Multiplayer, there's tons of feedback there. But what we do with single player is we're really looking at how are our players playing. We're listening to what they're saying about the thing, and with Call of Duty, it's all about that situational awareness, You always need to know, as I love that shot. In Call of Duty, it's about situational awareness. So we looked at what can we add subtly that give that hardcore player the ability to be a better soldier in the action, So you're looking at something like, okay, when you're getting hit, the directional blood stuff, how can we tweak that to make it more fine-tuned, more just in core with like, okay, I know where I'm getting hit basically by getting shot. A lot of audio tweaks to the engine of like bullet whiz-by stuff, so you can get direction of a bullet, where an enemy's firing from, just by the whiz-by, so you can react on the fly.
I think the important thing for everyone to know is that there's millions, tens of millions of fans out there, right? We do listen. Robert and the community management organization, they take that feedback very serious. We pass it through the team. So while there's a lot of good feedback, we're listening.
Yeah. Well, and this is a definitely serious subject matter. So as far as like the tone of the campaign, obviously this is pretty intense. But like, were you like looking to make it a little more serious this time around? Or are you trying to make it still have that element of fun? Or like what was the tonal kind of direction for this?
At the core of Call of Duty, it's all about the fun.
Yeah.
It's all about that action movie cinematic experience. That's the thrill ride you're riding. But we take our story very seriously.
Absolutely. I think we delivered all the promise that players of the past have put into the characters they've known and loved, like Soap and Price. But then Modern 2, we're either dead or on the run. There's a lot of investment there, right? So the story is key, but as Robert says, it always comes down to great, fun gameplay.
Yeah, excellent. So to catch us up as far as like where we are chronologically, we're in the middle of the stock exchange now, in the demo. So as far as like where this falls into the campaign itself, like would you say this is the beginning, the middle, or the end? Like in
yeah,
those
absolutely,
directions?
right at the beginning.
Nice.
Right at the beginning, as we've seen Russia on the eastern seaboard, before the combat escalates to a global conflict that, as Robert mentioned, takes you to Europe, takes you to Africa.
Yeah.
You'll see Paris and Berlin.
Yeah. Well, and as you mentioned before, like this is like an extension of what happened in Modern Warfare 2. How would you say like people need to catch up? Do they really need to like go back and play every games, or do you guys kind of refresh their memories a little bit with the campaign?
Yeah, we definitely like to refresh them. If they're coming in fresh. This is a game that you're going to be able to enjoy because at the end of the day, it comes down to the gameplay.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of fun playing this, whether you played the previous ones or not.
Yeah.
But we definitely do some recap to people who, beat it on day one, jumped into multiplayer, and been playing that for 2 years. There's going to be a recap on the story before you jump in. But I mean, come on. If you haven't played Modern Warfare 2,
Yeah.
go back and play Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, but some of us might be a little rusty. Like, I mean, I might have to go back and go through the campaigns after logging so many hours of multiplayer.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I've seen a lot of Heinz in these missions. Like, that seems to be the Russian military weapon of choice in your like big set pieces.
It's definitely their aircraft of choice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so at this point, Delta has fought its way through Wall Street, through the stock exchange, is approaching their target, which is a jamming station that sits on the top of the New York Stock Exchange. It's what's allowing the
Air
Heinz
superiority.
to control with air superiority.
We've seen a lot of jets flying overhead, so there's obviously a big, like, widespread, like, kind of air battle going on as well between American forces. So.
Yeah, I mean, this conflict is raging,
Yeah.
you know, out in and outside the
Yeah.
city. And this particular mission, you're just following a small team of Delta operators, just trying to make it so the more traditional forces can do their job
Yeah.
effectively.
Well, and then again, the environmental effects are crazy. Like, you see, buildings crumbling in the background. Like, it's just crazy. So they're getting ready to blow it. What are they blowing it with, Robert? You're the weapons expert. I can see it. I can see it.
This actually looks like a thermite charge. Rather than
Oh, it's
your-
burning hard now. So I mean, I
yeah.
imagine so. Oh, that is beautiful.
I love it.
Oh, it's so gorgeous.
So this is the first step in allowing Delta and the American forces to regain a piece of airspace. And you'll see shortly, you'll see
Wait for
one
it.
of our new,
I love this. See, you flip up that scope, start engaging things
Yeah.
at long range.
That's,
it feels
that's
good.
pretty distant range on that, man. That's good. So we got some Reaper drones coming
there
in.
you
huh?
go. So this is the newest addition to the Predator drone family.
The moment the game has all been waiting
Get it?
for.
Nice.
So I also like the element of like the vertical gameplay. I mean, that adds a new challenge. So I mean, like you've got enemies from all different levels coming at you.
Yeah. That's a byproduct of just how the gameplay changes
Yeah.
from environment to environment. Because fighting in Manhattan is very different than fighting in London. It's very different than fighting in all these different locales.
That is some beautiful destruction, my friend.
Yeah, so this is exciting, right? You started in the streets of Manhattan. Now you're on the top of the New York Stock Exchange.
Now it's
And
time to
now-
extract.
And now it's time for an exfil, at which point you join your fellow Delta operators on your Blackhawk, and that allows you to experience Manhattan from the top of the skies in another new and interesting way that you really haven't seen.
With a minigun.
With a minigun.
Everything's
Right?
better with a minigun.
Yeah.
It's science.
Yeah, whenever I go to New York, I'm like, I wish I had a minigun right now.
Proven fact. Look it up. Get a book.
Just read it. So yeah, you get a full sense of the scope of the levels, which, and again, it's just beautiful here with the engine upgrades. So what are we hearing on the radio chatter here?
So essentially now they're trying to make their way to the harbor.
Yeah.
And they're running into a few enemy birds along the way.
Now, this is, kind of an early example of like vehicular, kind of use in the single player campaign. How much of that do you think we'll see in this, in this endeavor?
Well, the big key for us is we want you to not only, experience this global conflict, but we want you to experience it in all new ways. You're constantly doing something new. As he said, you start out this mission, boots on the ground, infantry putting rounds down range. Now you're flying through the skies. We have AC-130 stuff. We're always showing you the conflict from different perspectives.
Yeah. And the AC-130, I'm sure, was a major, point of the fan feedback. It's like more AC-130.
Yeah,
So.
that's one of those things that it's so good just the way it is.
Yeah.
You just want more of it.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have to change. It just has to be,
Yeah.
all the time.
And now we got some really cool moments that we teased to in the first trailer we put out.
Yeah.
But we're gonna let fans experience that one on their own.
Now this is a pretty intense battle between two helicopters, man. You gotta sit there and soak it in, like just drink it. Oh, that's not good.
I love
Yes.
the rifle.
Yeah. This is not good for the Delta Force boys.
Wow. It's Delta, they'll make do.
Now, you guys obviously are, deeply involved with the military in terms of consultation on this kind of stuff. I mean, did you guys just go to a whole other level with this game? Like, I mean, did you guys go out and fly these things? Like, what was the military involvement in this kind of stuff?
We're deeply, connected with advisors that we have and stuff. And I mean, it's very important whenever possible. With the guns, we always go hands-on with all the guns. We get out there, we fire them. We're, getting a feel for them because that's important. For the dude doing the reload animations, you need to know the weight of that weapon, how it's carried. Yeah. Every detail is so important.
Yeah. So, of course, we're all excited for Modern Warfare 3. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. And back to Naomi.
Thank you.
Awesome. Look, guys, thanks a lot. And for your Modern Warheads out there, tell us what you thought of the game. Follow it at IGN and tweet with the hashtag E3. Okay, it's been a wild ride, but today's live show has come to an end. And a huge thank you to all of our guests and crew that worked on today's show. We saw some amazing stuff. If you missed a segment today, you'll be able to see it again on IGN. Anyway, the live show might be done for now, but we're going to continue tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific. Big games like Rage, Street Fighter, Cross Tekken, and Skyrim will be in the house, so you should be too. In the meantime, check out e3.ign.com for all the latest updates from the show floor. I'm Naomi Kyle, and we'll see you tomorrow.